guys, welcome to Cult Film and Review, the podcast where we discuss the films you love but no one else gets, and we see if they still hold up. Tonight, it's all rebellion and 90s teen angst and sex. Because we're talking about the Doom generation, so let's start the show.
That was good.
I even said it fancy with a fancy camera face.
You did.
I did.
Hey, everybody.
Hey!
Welcome to Cult
What's
Film
up?
and Review.
Whoa! Fucking A over here, guy. Calm down. All right.
All right.
Oh.
No, I'm going to do it this.
Oh, you got it?
Now go ahead.
No, I'm going to do that tonight.
No, I thought I'd do something different. All right, here we go. Hey guys, thanks for joining the cult. We really appreciate it. Do us a favor, head over to iTunes, leave us a review. We'll give you a shout out at the end of the show. We got 2 to do.
Shout out!
Everyone's shocked by that. Yeah, no, we did. We have
I'm
2 to do.
excited.
No idea.
Yeah, because I checked today and I didn't see any.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where'd you find these?
They're on iTunes in the U.S. One of them is Sammy.
Oh, that's right. She did leave one a while ago.
Oh.
She
Can I
she
read
left that like, dude. She left that like a week ago.
Yeah, that just
Really?
popped up.
Holy shit!
Well, now we know how long
then
it takes for these things to get
Yeah.
published.
And
I
then
called
we
dibs.
have another legitimate one.
Really?
Yeah,
So we have one legit and one
Sammy.
One Sammy.
Yeah, Kyle's
An
girlfriend.
insider.
Doesn't really count,
And a
but she's
person.
still
Doesn't
But you
even
know
count
what?
as a person.
She did
still
listen.
gonna get a shout out. She's still gonna get a
and
shout out.
she did listen to the Teen Witch episode, and she did criticize me for thinking it was Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Well, you did,
How
you
could
did deserve
you?
that.
I got
You
it
did
from
deserve
everyone.
that.
So
So
now
good.
you have that. After you're done subscribing and leaving us a review, head over to cultfilmandreview.com and check out all of our latest stuff there. You can pick up a shirt there. There's a whole bunch of stuff you can do. So just check that out. cultfilmandreview.com. As always, I am joined by Kyle Smith,
Hey, how's it going?
Chris Wilmberg,
Hey, what's up?
and Michael Salustio.
Hello, everyone.
Today we are talking about the Doom generation. I don't know why I said it like that. How am I going to say this
Yeah,
guy's
it kind of
last
sounded
name?
like you said the Dune generation.
I know, it
I'm like,
did.
that's a very different movie.
How do I say this guy's? Gregg
Araki.
Araki.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Should we spell it out all?
It's just spelled how it sounds.
Yeah, just
Oh,
say
yeah,
it like
sure.
It
that.
is spelled how it
Just
sounds.
like,
Iraqi.
just like if you met a dude from Iraq, he'd be an Iraqi,
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
and it's the same thing.
All right, here we go.
Phonetics with Mike.
Sorry. That just came up.
Oh, God, he's
God,
throwing
what the
up
fuck,
already.
man?
I had a burp.
Jesus, he was thinking about that semen scene.
Impressive.
Dude, seriously. No, okay, we'll get into that.
Okay.
There we go. Tonight we're talking about the Doom generation. It was directed by Gregg Araki, came out in 1995, had a budget of $800,000, made $284,000 in the box office, was filmed in Los Angeles, currently has a rating of R. I don't know why I said it that way. Has an R rating.
Currently.
And currently has a Rotten Tomatoes score of a whopping 47%. This was Chris's pick. Chris, why'd you pick the Doom generation?
Well, first of all, I might need to correct myself. This might be an NC-17 movie. I don't know if it was R.
I was going with. I
It
thought
might be NC-17.
I would say NC-17.
I think it has been rated NC-17 at some point, but I picked this movie because this is like, for me, like a quintessential cult film. It's something that definitely has inspired me and has left an impact on me, so much so that I myself have made a film that was definitely references this film in certain ways. I don't know. This is something that I saw when I was really young. I actually went to Video Update. I was like 13 years old looking for kids, and they were always out of kids. And the clerk recommended this movie to me. He said, "We don't have kids, but we do have the Doom generation."
Dude, what the fuck? You were 13 and you were like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I want to watch something like kids," and the
Yeah.
dude was just like, "Yeah, man, kid, you want to watch something? Watch this semen eating movie."
Right?
Well, no, listen.
It's a great clerk.
He
man.
knew he knew the reason I was looking for kids was probably because it was a controversial film.
Okay.
And he was a film nerd, so he was like, hey, if he was looking for this kind of movie, he probably wants to see the Doom generation, which also has some shock value to it. It has some street cred for making an impact in that way, I think, when it came out. And so I watched it, and when I saw it, it was like, It did shock me. Like it did put me in a really weird mood. I felt very bizarre about the whole thing.
Yeah, dude, you were 13.
Yeah. Yeah. So
You know nothing about sex. This was way too fucking early for you to watch this.
you know, I don't know if that's necessarily true
No, it
because
is.
what it did was what it did was it kind of blew the doors wide open on film in general and like how weird things can get in film, and definitely got me in the door with like a John Waters and other a David Lynch, like people who did like experimental films who have just things that are sort of out there. I think he's definitely this guy Gregg Araki has made his mark, and so this movie influenced me in a lot of ways. That's why I picked it. Also, true stories we could not get, so maybe that will come later.
Oh, did
Well,
you
that's
bring
true.
that?
Wow.
Did you bring
Yeah.
Way to shit all over your fucking praise of this guy.
Sorry.
Man, I just love this film so
Yeah.
much. And, they didn't have true stories. So.
You're right. You're right.
that? Did you? Did
No,
you
it-
bring
The only
that?
reason
Did
I
you
saw
bring
this
that
is because
movie?
they were out of kids.
Happy
and then-
accident. No, I forgot.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
cut that part out.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry.
the only reason I saw this is because
Yeah,
they didn't have kids,
we-
and
Fuck you for
Yeah.
not finding true stories.
and the only reason we're reviewing it is because
I originally picked a
we didn't-
David Byrne film and then just went fuck it and picked this.
Wipe my
So-
ass.
Kyle, let me
Sorry.
ask you this: have you ever seen this movie before? Have you seen the?
No,
Take that
I
back.
hadn't. What do you want to do it again?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah,
again.
please, yeah. Kyle, what about you? Have you seen the Doom Generation before?
No, I have not seen it before. I'm very familiar with the film because Chris. I feel like Chris throughout his life has had shirts or movie posters or has talked about this movie. And funny enough, I was just telling Chris before we got started, like there was a moment when I was younger, much younger, and he was talking to my brother Ryan about some movie where some dude, like there's a scene where some dude's watching two people have sex and he like jerks off and then he like looks it up, and I never knew what movie they're talking about. And then at the start of that scene, I was like, "Oh my fucking god, this is that movie, isn't it?" and then it happened. I'm like, "Oh my god, this is that movie." So yeah, I've never seen it before. First time watch for me.
What about you, Mike?
I mean, I've seen the poster a million times because I get my hair cut at Chris's house.
Right?
So, like, I've always watched it. And here's the weird thing. I always thought it was Melanie Griffith that was the main girl
You think
in
of
this.
Cherry 2000?
Yeah, dude, definitely.
No,
think
I
Cherry
know
2000.
I know that I wasn't looking at a poster for Cherry 2000. I just always thought that
That was the girl.
that it was she looked like Melanie Griffith for some reason.
The girl from Cherry 2000.
Yeah, the girl from never mind. You guys are fucking. Anyways, so I've always wanted to see it. I never got a chance to, and then when Chris picked it, like I was really excited because I was like, man, I've been staring at that fucking poster for like 3 years.
Yeah.
Dude, I've known this movie since I was a teenager because of Chris. And never once, this is the weird thing about this movie, never once has he ever recommended that you watch it. He will talk to you about it and say it's one of his favorite movies, but never is he like, dude, you should watch it. Or like, let me show you it. It's
Yeah.
never, I've known him for almost goddamn 20 years. It's
He's
never
like-
happened.
He's
doesn't
like
want
that
that
guy that wants that.
responsibility.
Yeah.
He's the only guy listening to a really cool underground band. He like really doesn't want anybody else to
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
No, I think actually I realized like on this watch, this isn't the kind of movie you want to watch with your friends or your buds. Like I feel like it would be a weird group watch.
He didn't ask to watch it with you, man. He just asked.
I'm
He
just saying
just
when
asked
you,
for a solid
You didn't even, but you didn't even
recommendation.
like, you
but to
weren't
bring
even
it
like,
up, even bring it up, it's like, oh yeah, let's check. Do you have it? Let's check it out. Like it's kind of a weird, like you have to have a taste for like
Well,
something
yeah.
really out there.
no, I would have liked to watch it and just put my hand on your lap midway through just to see.
Give him the two
the
pump.
double squeeze. Mike's famous double squeeze.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, you're right. I never thought about that. I never.
It's true. It's one of those movies like I've always heard you talk about, always seen you have like
You know what?
have it,
Can
but
I be-
he's
can I be
never
perfectly
like
honest?
you should watch it.
I've known, yeah. I mean, obviously, I've known him for a long time. There are very few movies he's actually told me, after explaining it to me, you should go check it out. He just likes to talk about the movie, but he never says you should go
watch
check it out.
Yeah.
Like, there's only a handful that I can honestly, like,
How the fuck did
Like
you work
Ama-
at the video store?
American Movie. American Movie was one that he talked about and then said, you should go rent that movie. But, like, never Pink Flamingos, never this.
I just
Yeah.
know. I just feel like this is kind of the moment where we're realizing on the show, like certain movies are getting introduced to us for the first time. we're being forced to watch movies maybe we wouldn't normally pick for ourselves.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? So it's like, it's just a matter of gauging your audience. It's like, maybe you wouldn't be into this movie, so I wouldn't say you should rush out and see it. My bad if you are, but it's like, I think we all do that to some degree.
Yeah. But I mean, this is so influential on you that you put elements of it in a short film you made. Yet you had never like, hey, dude, watch this. It's so weird to me. I don't know.
I
It
guess
is very
it's like,
weird.
I guess it's like, if you find it and it's something that you think is interesting, like, then good for you. Like, I don't need to convince you of anything.
No, but it's
now.
like,
I guess now will be the time that we see if, like,
you
Oh wait, so hold on,
it would have
really
been
quick.
worth it to recommend it. I guess.
Really quick. Wait, so this is actually the first time you've watched it.
first time I've watched it.
Okay.
Yeah, I've never seen it before.
You never actually said that. You just
Yeah.
said like
That was
Chris
getting around
always
to
talked
it.
about it.
I was getting around to it in a very long way.
Yeah.
Okay,
And then I
sorry.
forgot that was actually what I was talking about. So thank you for bringing us back.
Why are our shows like an hour and a half now?
Yeah, this is
Can
why.
we
This
talk
is
about that a
why.
little bit?
This is why. Right now is why.
I'll chop some of that.
Simple
some of that
question.
back and
All he
forth
could have said
down.
was just like, Chris never asked people to watch movies. Fuck you, Chris. And then move on. Instead, it was just like, and anyway, so I haven't seen this film.
Oh, my
And I remember
God.
the first day I met Chris.
The
was
sun,
on the bus.
the sun was at 12 o'clock.
I guess I just
High
figured
noon.
if I'm displaying it on my T-shirt and I'm displaying it in my home in a movie poster frame, like, I'm basically recommending it.
I guess that's true.
I mean,
Yeah, dude.
I'm
Why don't
displaying
you
a
love
cult
Chris?
film
That's
review
what he's
T-shirt,
saying.
not telling everybody to listen.
Why didn't you pay attention to my cares and beliefs and search it out for yourself?
Like we're doing it again, guys.
we should probably get to plots with
Sorry,
Mike.
let's do it.
So let's get to plots with Mike.
Weird.
Yeah.
That's a weird segue.
Doom Generation. It starts off with this girl Amy and her boyfriend Jordan. Like they go to high school. It's the 90s. You can tell that immediately. It's pretty clear. Amy's kind of like foul mouth, kind of like I don't want to say free spirit, but more like she's tough. She's tough, right? She's got a mouth on her.
What would that be? Alt? Is that
Alt.
Yeah, no, that's
That's
I like
interesting.
that.
Yeah, she
An
is
alt.
alternative
She's
looking.
alt
Yeah.
chick?
I would say everyone's kind of alt in this movie.
It's very 90s alternative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jordan is a sweet guy that is doing his best Ted impression from Bill and Ted's Adventures.
Dude.
Like,
You ain't kidding.
Like, those two characters could be the same person. And they're in love, and like they start kind of like bizarrely, like entering this world the moment they meet this guy Xavier, who like they're watching a movie or they're like on a lookout thing, right?
That looks like an old ass drive.
I couldn't
drive
tell.
up.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So they're making out and stuff like that, and this guy gets into a fight, and he accidentally ends up in their car, and they end up driving with this guy, and like trouble kind of follows this guy wherever
Yeah.
he goes, and like for whatever reason, every time they try to let this guy go, he keeps somehow showing up, and like people die and shit.
He's a
And-
mutant.
Right, and the weird thing about it is like they're also starting to enter into this world that kind of is starting to get real surreal. There are weird moments in it where they even there start questioning whether or not I think they're even in it, and they continue that way. They just continue with this outlaw and have a sex journey essentially.
It's a road movie.
It's a road movie. That's
Yeah.
exactly how I would put it. But
So-
there's no real destination.
Mm-mm.
Like they never get to White
No.
Castle.
I don't
Like,
even know
mean,
where they're actually trying
I didn't
to
even know
go,
that. I didn't
like-
even know it
Yeah.
was a road movie until halfway
No, it
fucking through it.
Absolutely, yeah, but it absolutely is. Yes.
Yeah.
I kept on saying to myself, "How the fuck they afford the hotel?"
Well, they robbed the person at the first place.
Yeah, but I think after that they were even out of money. Anyways, well, it doesn't even matter because we're about to get into it when we come right back.
We're not stopping. We're gonna move forward.
No,
You gonna let
I
Norris
need to
out?
Unlock the door downstairs.
Yeah,
I
let's cut
already
it.
unlocked the door.
We should. Are you
Thanks.
cutting?
Never mind.
I unlocked the door. I don't know if you want to let Norris
No,
out.
don't cut.
Yeah,
We're
okay.
right in.
All right. All right.
He's like fucking just.
He's
showing
fine. Is he,
Yeah, it's fine.
he's doing something wrong? You look at him. He's the most comfy you could be.
Oh my god, that is the most adorable thing I've seen.
He's just staring at the door.
He's fine. He's
literally laying on his back, all paws in the air. He's a goddamn. He's so cute.
He's fine. He's
He's
a
so
little shop cat.
Go, cat.
A little shop cat.
A little shop cat. You can have him in your shop.
He's pretty lax. Didn't want him like meowing.
He will.
I don't
No,
think he will. Now we're giving him attention. He's going to. He's going to be like, oh, yeah.
Let's let him out.
I heard you say my name.
Oh, is it Norris
Ah,
time?
did you say Norris?
He ruined it by getting up. He could have laid there cutely. Cute like. Yeah, never mind.
Cute. He could have laid there cutely.
Cute like.
Cute.
Man, they're all cute like.
Looking all cute and like.
All right, I'm ready.
Did a costume change.
Dude, I'm glad you got that fucking. But yeah, he's a mutant.
Yeah, I fucking lost it. I was just laughing the whole time. He's describing like they're going to some like weird world, nothing makes sense. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah,
sounds like
yeah.
fucking Professor X.
It's
Xavier for
What?
sure.
Because his name is Xavier, and
Oh.
you're like, this guy shows up, and then all this weird stuff happens. I'm like, yeah, because he's a mutant, and you like kept going and didn't hear it, and fucking
I didn't-
Kyle
I
heard
didn't-
it. And
you know what,
started
I didn't-
laughing.
I didn't pick up
I
on
didn't
that.
pick up on it. I didn't pick up that you even
I know
said
you
that.
just kept plowing along, and then I like.
It wasn't like I was trying to
like,
ignore him. I just
and, like,
didn't
no,
make
and
the
the
no,
more
connection.
you
it was
describe
funny
the
because I
story,
was
it's-
locked in on you, and he says that, and then like I'm watching you continue to talk, and I was like, he just started laughing and fucking
Because
uncontrollably.
as you start
That's so
describing
funny.
it too, it does sound like you're describing like a mutant with powers. Because you're like,
It
yeah,
sou-
and then the
it's-
world starts changing.
It
I'm
sounds
yeah,
like
it's
you're
he's a
describing
mutant.
an episode of that FX show. Anyhow, let's keep going.
Gotcha.
All right, here we go, and we're back. No.
And we're back.
And we're back. We're talking about the Doom generation. I don't even know where I want to start first. I guess we can start with it opens up in a weird ass like 90s club. You think Rob Zombie could pop out at any time?
Yeah, it
Wasn't
definitely
Rob
does.
Zombie playing?
No, 9 Inch Nails.
No.
Get it right, Kyle.
Interchangeable.
Yeah, you thought he could have popped up as
Yeah.
you know,
Interchangeable in the 90s. Come on.
not in Rob Zombie's like
Power Man 5000
He was
came
in
out.
white.
I disagree.
He was in White Zombie at the time, and you thought like that he could pop out at any time. You
That
know,
is
like,
true.
Yeah.
I really did. I thought that was going to happen.
Yeah, I was
until
trying-
the dialogue kicked in.
Yeah.
Well, they're in a club called Hell,
Yep,
and they're hanging out.
Dude,
Obviously, doing drugs.
she's on crystal
dancing.
meth.
Yeah, she's
Yes.
definitely on meth. Yeah.
She's on crystal meth. I actually don't know if Jordan does.
I don't
like,
think he's
he
on
drinks and
anything.
smokes weed, but I don't think he does anything like hard.
I agree.
And
Yeah.
he didn't seem like it. I didn't see him do it. at
No.
least, so
The wise little Buddha that he is throughout this movie.
We learn right away that she's kind of a brat. Like she's got a total bratty attitude, which Rose McGowan, I feel like this is her debut role. Like this is the
Yes.
first movie she ever been in, and just like one for the record, she claims she was 17 when she did this role. So underage, like she lied, like
Yeah,
to get the part or whatever. But yeah, this is her. This is the first time we see her, and I feel like this kind of maybe somewhat defines her characters later on in her career.
Can I, if we can talk about the character itself, maybe not where it's going to go in this movie, and her acting ability in this film, along with everybody else's. For me personally, there's something about her line delivery in this movie that is just not good. As far as
It's amateur. I think it's
It's just-
amateur. It's a little.
it's almost
new.
every performance is, but hers is just.
Yeah.
It's also how it's written. I honestly, it's written to be funny, but it wasn't like funny to me because I was watching part of this at work, and like my coworker couldn't see it, but he was listening to it, and he was like, "Jesus, this sounds like an 8-year-old," and I was like, "Yeah."
wait, you were watching this movie at work?
Yeah. In the break room.
You thought
Okay.
you didn't think this is a not safe for
Yeah.
work situation?
Uh,
here?
Every other word is fuck in this movie.
People know what I do. Like people know what I do there. They know
Yeah.
they
know what I do.
Yeah.
They know what I
They
do.
know what I fucking do.
They know what I do there. And he's like, Jesus, dude. He's like, number one. He said that sounds awful, and it sounds like that she talks like an 8-year-old.
Mhm.
And then we start making fun of it, going back and forth. It was like all you had to do is like replace something with like a body part, like whatever ain't his face, like you know what I mean. And it was a
Yeah.
line of hers
Yeah,
from the
yeah.
movie because that's
Yeah.
how it came across.
Yep.
And there was something for me at least, and that just made it. I couldn't enjoy her.
Here's something I think you could like. First of all, I feel like this movie is very rooted in like the '90s, especially with like this type of dialogue. Like,
Oh, I agree.
it's almost like it's like a teen movie ramped up into like a more like a shocking kind
Can
of
I-
dialogue.
Go on.
Sorry, I was just gonna say, so there's that element of going into it, but also we should mention that this is like a part of a trilogy, and if you watch the other two movies that are in this trilogy, the dialogue is very much the same. It's very like this is a style that he's trying to introduce into this teen angst world,
Well,
I guess.
Yeah, well, and because as I'm watching it, all I could think, and this is right from the get-go too, all I could think is like, ooh, somebody watch Natural Born Killers. Like that's
Yeah,
instantly where I went with this.
me too. While watching this
I
movie, I got
mean-
a strong vibe from that. But I mean, you can't say that some. I mean, this came out after it.
It came out after it. Yep, 1 year after it. So
Like, I don't think that's enough time.
I don't think so either. Honestly,
do
I don't
that.
think there is. There's not enough time for me
It's
to
just how it
say
comes
for me
across.
to say someone watched that and they're taking from it. But I mean, the movies have very similar vibes, is very similar setup, and
I
very
agree.
similar stylistic.
Yeah,
kind of
I agree
direction.
with you there. I did feel like the obviously like the editing was very much like straight out of like the whole like Robert Rodriguez like
Yeah.
Kevin Smith. I actually thought it was shot almost like an early Kevin Smith movie.
Mhm.
Like real drastic cuts, like real hard cuts that like go to angles that don't transition over very well. Like you'll get a real big close up all of a sudden it'll be back out again and it's like
right.
there was a lot of that. Like the angles seemed just a little off, like they weren't quite
Just
polished.
Dutching the fuck out of those.
Yeah,
angles.
like just weird shit like that. So, but it was also like you go back and you watch like anything that came out in 94, 95, a lot of them had this type of
Is it-
definitely
is it-
to
it does
is
have.
that-
No, I agree with that.
If you
The
watch
early
like Lost
90s have a-
Highway,
yeah,
it kind of
even
has
though-
this
even,
feel.
Yeah, even
distinctive
bigger
vibe, man.
films. Yeah,
That
had
all
this
these
type
movies,
of cut.
all the movies at this time had the same exact look and
Yeah.
feel.
I thought for me, I feel like Natural Born Killers is a little more. There's a lot more motion to the camera. Does that make any
it's
sense?
it's more polished.
yeah.
There's more motion, and that one I feel like is kind of that one has a style that is very it feels very much like the end of the 80s and the beginning of the 90s. Is this kind of like you still have the I guess cinema polish to it, but it has some of
Mhm.
these. What you get in the 90s, these kind of hypercuts, these weird angles, these weird editing style.
Yeah,
It's
choppy and grungy.
the other
Yeah.
thing,
like,
yeah,
can be so bold, like
Yeah.
obvious.
The Crow kind of had, like I
Yeah.
feel like it's kind of all has this dark, seedy, like
It's all
rock
angst,
and roll
man.
90s, like grunge
Yeah,
rock,
it's just
90s
angst.
gothy
Like
kind
we're gonna
of,
break the rules.
Yeah.
I agree with that too.
rebellious.
Yeah.
I agree with that too because I even feel like the acting style that they did choose to go with, because obviously there's a director on the set, and if he's thinking like, oh my god, she's I think that she portrayed what he wanted. The
Mhm.
director definitely wanted. I think that's exactly what he wanted to capture was again amateur kind of feel, weird. Because she has such a fucking weird cadence in how she delivers her line. Everyone does in this movie, except for I'd say probably Jordan is the one that has. He has a cadence, but it's only because he sounds like from he's like from
This
Bill
is
and Ted.
strung out surfer dude.
Yeah,
I
mean,
just think this
but-
dialogue is hard to deliver without being campy about it. Like I really think, like yes, she has a very bratty, campy, over the top way, and she just keeps going, and you know what I mean. It's almost like how you were saying with Pink Flamingos, like it just keeps going with the dialogue.
yeah.
That's almost like how her character is in this. It's like you're right. She's always got a comeback, always got this crazy, witty, like bratty, thing to say. Like, and it's relentless almost.
It is almost, but I guess for me is like what ruined it is the delivery of it is also so just as bad as the relentlessness on it that it's like it's hard to take.
I'm not gonna lie to you guys.
You got annoyed by it.
Yes,
I'm not gonna lie to you guys. There's not a single performance in this film I dislike. Like,
I knew that was coming. God damn it!
include no, it includes Rose McGowan. I just kind of feel like I feel like you get that stuff out of David Lynch movies sometimes too, like really, really awkward lines,
Yeah,
or like conversations that are weird, like you putting mustard on that hot dog, Bill? Yeah, Bill. Yeah, I love mustard. Like something weird like that, and that would be like a line, and it's in the way the characters always deliver those lines is it's like it's almost forced in a weird way.
Yes.
Where you think it's supposed to be something special, but it's not. Like it's just a throwaway line.
Yeah.
Like I felt like this movie had a little bit of that. I didn't mind it at all, quite honestly. It just added more to like the indie appeal, I
Yeah.
think is the best way to put it. I just felt like it had that raw feeling and like weirdly raw, like unpolished acting moments in it.
She felt like, to me, like it felt probably one of the reasons why I like her character in this is because she felt like unapologetically badass in a way, but also super naive and
Oh yeah.
and like just sort of like by the seat of her pants experiencing life, you know?
Yes.
It's like it kind of had this duality to it.
I don't know, because there's that weird character thing that they play out throughout the whole movie, which is these people that keep coming up from, I'm assuming, her past that she has. At first I was like, oh no, that just somebody just, this movie's weird, whatever, somebody just misrecognized her. But then when it started happening over and over again, I was like, no, she has this weird past thing where she was someone else a bunch of times. Jordan is this very naive, very innocent, fucking somewhat just like also like just dumb. Like, I don't know, I want to say dumb, but just, I guess that's like naive. I guess dumb, naive. I don't know. And then you have Xavier, he's a mutant. But no, I
Just
don't
keep going with it.
I'm
man.
gonna run with it. No, I just don't. I honestly don't know. He's like weird. He's a very hard character for me to nail down as
Really,
far
I
as
think
what
he
his.
plays his character exactly how he's supposed to be. He's an outlaw. He has no problem killing people. But he like has for whatever reason he has a soft spot for these two kids, and
Soft spot?
yeah, a hard spot. Sorry,
A
Carl.
hard spot.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I take slight offense to using the term soft spot. I don't think it's because soft spot implies like, oh, I'm going to nurture these two through this
He doesn't.
journey.
What I'm
and
saying is
it's-
he doesn't steal their shit and drive off with their car.
No, I don't.
He sticks
no,
with them for whatever reason.
Because
he's more like he's kind of like a leech or a parasite. He's kind of stuck onto them.
I think after he would have banged Jordan, he probably would have stole their car and left. I think that was his
You
mission.
think that was the whole thing?
I
Yeah.
don't think.
I think it was to
I'm not gonna lie,
bang both of them.
I don't think that Xavier is that weird. I think he's a guy who shits where he eats. Like, I mean, I think he's the type of dude like he fucks everything up that he touches, and I think that he kind of. But here's the thing: like, he doesn't ruin these fucking kids' lives at the end of this film.
Well, their lives are already ruined. There's nothing to
Yeah.
There's really nothing to ruin.
Accessories to murder.
Yeah, like what the fuck is there to like? No, even before that, it's like they're on meth. Like
Who
there's
does
really
ruin
nothing.
who
The only
does-
one there is to ruin is Jordan.
no, they're virgins
who
at the
does
beginning,
ruin their
apparently.
lives because who is the one that does it then? Because Jordan ends up dead because of like the journey that they go down.
Yeah, but that's just like the journey. Like they become different.
But did they go down that journey because would they? The question is, would they have gone down that journey had Xavier not killed the store clerk at the beginning? That's the action that set off the rest of the
that's
film.
a tough question to answer
Because
but now I feel like that's a retroactive justification for. Look, I mean, like when they go on this journey, it's like I hate to say it, but like the question is, do the characters grow or is it just watching a tragedy?
Well,
and I don't think that it's a tragedy.
well, we're
I don't
talking.
think they grow.
We're talking about the character though. You say that you stated that you don't think Xavier ruined these kids' lives, and I'm not saying these kids had a great life beforehand, but what I am saying is
said
that his actions. I think his actions directly are responsible for the path that they end up going down, and they even talk about it in the
But I
film.
mean,
It's like if it wasn't for you doing this, we wouldn't be here. And
yeah,
type
but
of thing.
think of all the things they learn about themselves. Like, isn't that the whole? I mean, I guess we could
Sure,
as
that-
we
that
continue
might-
going through the
that's the point of
plot,
the point of a road movie for sure. Right? Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So, like, what I'm saying is, if I'm going to sit there and I'm going to say, all right, who's the antagonist in this film? I'm not
I
saying
don't
it's
know.
Xavier.
I don't know what they learned about, even though.
Well, let's find
Come on,
out.
yeah,
I'm
well,
interested
What do you
too.
mean? What do you mean? Come on.
I'm interested too.
Like it doesn't like you said earlier that they're both virgins in the beginning. No, they're not. Like we've learned that throughout the movie that Amy is
well, no,
clearly
we
tied
don't,
through
we
sex.
don't learn that. We don't learn
Amy's
that. They
clearly tied
imply
to-
it, but they don't ever confirm it, dude.
Yeah, I
that's
don't-
the one thing I
Can I
can't
be
take
honest
away.
with you? Yeah.
Like I'm still like on the fence. Like maybe this is just some weird like kind of like night that's happening to them. Like I'm not convinced that she has this dark past, although I do like that theory, and I think that's a fun theory to consider, is that she does have this like all these personalities, like and they're all coming back to get her now, including the FBI.
But do keep in mind, it's not a weird night. It's a weird week, basically.
Right? Oh yeah, you're right.
You know what
It's
I
a couple
mean?
days,
So-
yeah.
So if it's a couple days, then it can't be a weird night. Then the only other theory is this is some sort of weird. They're living in some sort of weird like
Purgatory?
or some sort. Yeah.
They call this the Apocalyptic Trilogy, and like the movie was even shot to look apocalyptic. So I feel like they're trying to put some kind of
Well, I think
weird.
the purgatory was I took that's how I was taking this whole film that's the angle, because that's also why that every single number in the film was 666. I think it was implying that they're in like a purgatory state.
Interesting. I never heard this theory before.
I
Really?
really made it up right now.
Yeah.
Wait.
He never picked up on.
Everything costs $606.
No, I'm aware of that, of course. But
The address is always 666 too.
Right. But I didn't assume automatically that meant they were held in some kind of purgatory
I feel
hell.
like it's like the only thing you can gather from that.
No,
that
the
number.
only thing that hurts me on that theory is usually, which obviously you can't say usually when you're talking about any films because directors can do completely unique things, but usually there's going to be at least some moment where you're like, when you done watch movie or you rewatch movie, you're like, that's the moment that they tripped into purgatory. Like, the only moment that I could possibly think of is the shop clerk, but then that would imply that they all died in that situation.
I think it starts in a club called Hell, which is like the first shot we get.
It's true.
Like-
So the
Right,
question is, do they start in purgatory or
But
do
then
they
they go to
transition
heaven.
into it?
They go to heaven right after that. Like that's exactly what he says. You want to go to heaven.
You
Then
want to go to heaven.
That's when they're up in the car and they're banging, and when Xavier comes into their life, which could be like a Satan figure, I guess, if you wanted to kind of.
I think
mean-
Xavier,
Or like a-
Xavier is a biblical name, is it not?
Well, his
No, I don't-
name's Xavier Red. I'm assuming red is like a reflection of his.
Well, I mean, I guess you
Character.
could say that, or I mean, the fact that their names are red, white, and blue is.
Man, dude, this
White would be Jordan, who would be more like an angelic type
Or-
figure,
or
I guess.
no, I
like
think
an ignorant.
It's the red, white, and blue. I think he's in.
I'm saying that I
He's
think that
inferring
they were
it's Americana.
representing, the new American.
Oh, I'm sure.
generation.
Yeah. Well, that comes into play definitely. at the
I
end.
kind of wanted to let him keep going and find out what he had for blue.
Now that being said,
blue
no,
is sad. It's a sad color.
no, but you know what? Actually, though,
More sad.
I don't think Chris is that far off. At some point in time, even if they were saying, "All right, we're gonna have 3 people, their names are red, white, and blue," and they ask who's red, who's white, who's blue, I think Chris is onto the point. I don't see anybody but Xavier being red.
Right.
It would not make any sense for the angry, wild guy to be called like blue or white. Yeah,
Yeah. I don't know. I mean.
and white.
I
he
mean,
is the purest
I'm
guy.
just
He's
kind
the
of
purest kid.
playing off the theory that this is hell, or that we're literally in some kind of real life hell, right? And everybody's just a
Can I tell
dissfunctional
you?
person. And
You just blew my mind because I never even came close. It was like the 666 stuff. I was like, oh, that's just the 90s. Like, yeah, 666. Let's rile our parents because
Really?
Satan. And like, yeah.
Wait. At what point in time do you realize you're seeing like surrealist kind of like interpretations and things and metaphors, and you're seeing that these things, you're like, okay, yeah, this is a symbol for something. This has happened too many times that it's just
Same with the sign, the sign in every shop, but where either implying that we will shoot you, we don't call the cops, and that
Yes,
it's always showing
yeah,
a
something with the
gun or
Lord,
something,
yeah.
Yeah.
about a gun, and they're gonna kill you. It's like
yeah.
there's all these recurring things and themes in it. That's why that's what I took away from it. Why it was like it felt like purgatory too, because also all these characters they run into, they're like these. They're almost like they're very much if you like if you understand like Dante's Inferno and that sort of world, like purgatory has all these people who are just they're like desperate souls,
Mhm.
and every person that says, hey, you're so and so, it's almost like these desperate spirits trying to latch onto something,
Mm-hmm.
and that kind of feels like that in
Yeah,
this movie.
I don't actually even think Amy's character, it makes sense for her to be like, yeah, she's been banging people around town and like
Yeah.
She's got different names
and they
with
go
every one of them.
far
and,
away, man. That's a far way to go. It's not like a hop to the neighbor's
Like,
house.
is Jordan just the next one of those people? Like,
Yes.
like
See?
she's taking
Yes.
advantage of. You know,
100%.
like.
I didn't think that.
That's what I got 100%.
Well, I think
Bullshit.
no, I could take that. I could see it because I think she's lying when she says, "But
She
we're
loves
both
him.
virgins." Like at the beginning when
Yeah.
he's like, "I'm afraid of catching AIDS," and she says, "But we're both virgins." Like
She
I'm like,
lies-
I don't think you're a virgin.
She
like,
lies about loving him too, I think.
Nah, I don't know if I agree with that.
I do. I don't.
Yeah, I think that could be a good misdirect from the director.
Yeah, maybe
Um,
so.
Yeah, I don't know. That's just where I went with the film. So where are we at right now, though?
Oh, we're just talking about the overall feel of the film right now, as where we've been going with it. It's been a really good conversation. With that being said, let's take a break. When we come back, we'll talk more.
You gonna take a break already?
What?
Yeah,
Why?
Are we?
because that's an awkward place to go from where you left us with where are we? So
No, you just pick it up and then I make an edit and it sounds like nothing happened. I'm
What-
clearly going to cut myself out
Wait.
saying that.
Okay, so we're not going. We're not going linear with this.
Cody,
story.
when I
we're
Yeah,
just
I've
going
got-
to talk
we've
about
Cody,
the
when I
movie,
say
right?
something,
Yeah,
I
we
can just
obviously-
cut it out.
Okay.
yeah, we
that's
obviously
fine.
have not gone linear with it
At all. We
Because
haven't.
we've really got into deep character shit that I like. Is, yeah.
Well, it felt like that whole back and forth about
That wasn't like-
was kind of done.
It was,
to
yeah,
me,
no,
I
it wasn't.
guess.
It wasn't repetitive or anything like that.
No,
though.
no,
was
it
just-
wasn't. But I was just asking, and I would edit myself out asking, and then I would seamlessly transition from the
Well,
end
we
of
can
that
just-
statement
jump
to
into
the next
something
one.
else. Oh.
What?
Let's jump into something else.
What did you say, Mike?
We can. We
I
can
didn't say anything.
yeah.
Just like watching, just watching this go down.
I'll go into it. Yeah. No. So here we go. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Jesus.
Thank you very much. Thank
Really,
you.
really set
you.
shit into a
Shut your
fucking
mouth. Shut your mouth.
Uh,
tornado.
Shut it. Shut it.
Shit.
No, I would say for me, like it's funny that you guys bring this up because I didn't. Yeah, I understood like the repeating elements and stuff like that, but yeah, in no way did I ever get the element of like they're in purgatory or anything like that. I was just like, okay, here we got an art house movie.
I just feel
To me-
like
Wait, but
And I
I
think
don't
that's-
know that they're in purgatory. That's not what I'm like.
But
I
guess
interpreted it as
Yeah,
such.
I guess I never looked that deep into this film because it never grabbed me from the fucking get go.
Yeah, but that doesn't like. What I'm trying to say is like, do you not know you're watching something surreal? Is it not apparent to you? Like
No.
when you're watching, like when does it become apparent to you that you're like, all right, it's not by accident.
It's
or
no.
anything.
It wasn't that it was. It is okay. So it is. There's a good for me at least for the surrealist films that we watch and stuff like that. A good one is going to make me want to question what's going on. It has to get me from the beginning, and it's going to make me
Okay.
want to question what's going on. This film from the get go never made me do that. When it starts off with the shitty dialogue, in my opinion,
Well-
with the character Amy giving this very dry, weird cadence delivery, I'm already out.
Well,
But
what,
you never
what about,
no, we know this. I mean,
Well-
this is like a running theme with a lot of your reviews. Is if you don't
Yeah.
like the characters and you don't right away, you don't like the characters, it's hard for you to like invest any more into the story.
Well, not only that, it's like again here we getting into that my thing with having at least one likable character, and the closest one you get to is Jordan, but even Jordan's kind of somewhat not likable for some because I almost feel like
angsty. They're all angsty.
I feel like it's almost because it's a rip off of like Bill and Ted, like you were saying earlier, but
Well, no, I
in a
mean,
different-
like,
in a
look, the
different dynamic.
mannerisms are, but
yeah,
like,
that's what I mean. Like,
obviously-
even the voice,
Mhm.
oh yeah, like the
Yeah.
whole look, everything. But
lines, no.
and- I mean, that could have been done on purpose, though.
Yeah.
I don't know what maybe the director was trying to go for that kind of
Yeah,
like.
I don't think-
this represents the '90s. I don't know at this
Yeah.
point, but what I am saying is like his drive and needs and stuff like that. He becomes a fleshed out guy.
I feel just sorry for him throughout almost the whole movie.
But you didn't like him?
No,
I like.
he-
I thought he was
he's the
not
most-
like what's the word I'm trying to say? Not unlikable. Like
He's-
it's impossible not to. Like
Yeah, yeah,
him.
no, he's
Wow, I went around.
he's not unlikable, but there's a point where you're just like, dude, you're just a fucking doormat, and you're just so okay with it.
But
Ugh.
that's the thing that's probably bothering you is that he's okay with it. Like the thing is because you feel like he's getting taken advantage of. But
Yes.
even when she comes clean in her own way, he doesn't seem to
'Cause
be broken up about it too much, and he even seems to question his own like what he wants out of this. Which is where Xavier I think comes in for both of them. Is he tests the waters for both of them on both sides of like the sexual spectrum?
Yeah,
So
I mean, that's what I feel like this whole film eventually kind of becomes about, right? Like, if you're gonna look at anything literal that happens, like a literal thing that actually happens, it's that this weird dude shows up, tests them sexually, and by the end of it, they kind of like know what they're into. And I actually don't feel like anybody gets taken advantage of in this movie. Like.
Clearly not, because there's several scenes in this movie where where you think somebody would be like, oh my gosh, that my girlfriend's having an affair with this man, but instead he masturbates while watching
think it's
them.
very
You know what
clear-
I mean? It's like, and vice versa. That same thing happens the opposite way. So
I almost but I almost see
He's into it. He
I-
likes this.
I don't know, dude. I almost see his masturbating and that shit. Like, I don't think he's ever comfortable with their relationship, and I think it was a sign of fucking weakness.
What?
Mhm.
He wants to fuck the shit out of Xavier.
I think he wants to
that guy around him at all times.
Yes, he definitely
I think he wants to
does.
fuck Xavier, but I don't think he wants her to fuck Xavier.
I don't agree with that at all. I think he loves this idea that he gets to stay with the woman that he loves, and he can maybe test this idea about this urge that he has.
The only thing I will say that I do think Cody's correct on was the scene when Jordan is masturbating, watching them, like that, the fall, and basically what happens after that. It definitely feels like he is not totally cool with it. He seems a little like it came to me like a little sad or heartbroken over it.
Yeah, he's just given up. At that
I
point.
don't
He
think it's
really
that at
gives
all,
up.
guys. Like this scene happens right after Rose McGowan's character, where after Amy tells him, "Hey, look, like, you know," and she doesn't catch on to it the first time, but he says straight up, like, "Oh, I don't care. Like, that's cool. Like, you guys had sex. That's cool." I think that scene. I don't think he feels. I don't think that uncomfortable look on his face is him saying, "I don't want my girlfriend to be having sex with this guy." I think it's like, "Oh shit, man, I'm into this kind of shit." Like, I think he's coming, like, he's gripping with his sexuality throughout this entire film. I think when he sees this and he sees that he's turned on by this, and maybe, like, I think he's finding out that maybe he's bisexual. Like, I didn't see it as like this sad scene. I saw it as this, like, I'm into this, I'm finally realizing that. And that changes my world.
I agree with that. I also could see it as, you know, like there's certain moments that make you think maybe he loves Amy so much that he would
anything.
just would just go along with it because he just wants to hang out with her.
That's exactly how he
You
comes
know,
across.
like he's totally infatuated with her, maybe in a way, but he's just weird about shit too. Like it's so back and forth, and I think that's the point of the movie, is to like kind of confuse you as to which way it's gonna go. You know what I mean? Like, is he attracted to this guy that just came in here? Is he not?
Oh,
Is she attracted to him? Is she not? Like,
But also, let's keep in mind, like, the first scene we have of these two kids having sex, it doesn't finish because
Right.
he can't do it,
that's true,
right?
That's true.
So you know
Yeah.
something's up, right? The only time he's then eventually now able to have his sex with his girlfriend is after Xavier comes into their lives and he's flirting with the guy. I think what I'm saying is Xavier completes the sexual desire that he has.
If you think
Interesting.
about it, because they get all close in the hotel room the first hotel room they go to, they get very close, and you think they're gonna maybe like kiss or something, and then he's like, "I gotta go take a piss," and he goes into the bathroom and fucks his girlfriend.
Immediately.
And then Xavier comes and watches, and there's that infamous scene where he, licks his own jizz.
dude.
Oh, I gag
was
gag
watching
every
it-
time.
Yeah,
That
it's
was
a
sick.
gross
That
one.
was- yeah,
It's a
that
gross
was sick.
scene.
So
The way
fucking
it's
gross.
shot is not.
It's very.
And I've watched Short Bus. Like, I've seen the real shit happen, and like even
What the fuck does that mean?
It's another movie.
it's another movie
yeah.
that
Okay.
maybe I'll pick that one next.
Opening scene, right? Yeah.
There's a scene in this movie Short Bus where a guy jerks off into his own mouth,
His own
Oh.
face. Yeah.
but it's real, like shot in porn style.
Isn't that fun?
Yeah. Anyways, what I'm saying is I don't imagine that this was his real cum on his hand. That
no.
I think
No.
it just looked way gross than more gross than the real thing.
There's just so much of it.
I mean, to be honest, it's the whole build up to the thing. It's the whole situation, and then it's like, yeah, it's glistening in like the neon glow of the bathroom.
Describe the glisten. I don't
You know,
think.
I'm just saying, like it
Had a
does.
nice
It makes
shimmer
you,
to it.
It makes you really like your stomach kind of turn.
Yeah.
and
It
Yeah.
certainly
you're-
does.
You know, and you're like, holy shit. So it's like, yeah, it is weird how they contrast these things that
Yeah.
just make you go, oh my gosh.
Anyways, that has nothing to do with these kids discovering themselves.
Yeah. Guess
No,
not.
well, I mean, in a way, because it does. Xavier's character too that's the one I just can't nail down. I don't know. He does feel like he doesn't feel like he's a part of he feels like an outside source. He doesn't.
Yeah, he's a
feel-
catalyst.
But no, he almost feels like in a way like I guess he almost feels in a way like not again like we were talking. The world kind of changes when he shows up. It does feel like he's kind of not of their world, but they're not really aware of it, and he is making them question everything because it's so
Yes,
weird. Of
I'll
like
agree with that.
how he just comes and chops off a agent's dude's head, and it talks.
We blew it
later.
off with a shotgun, but
Yeah.
yeah.
No, it's a chop. It's a clean chop. I don't know what kind of knife flew out of that shotgun. But that is a clean
that's
shot.
loaded with knife shot.
Knife shot. Everybody knows knife
Number
shot.
4 knife shot.
Really tough.
You don't have a knife
don't
shot
wanna
on
get
your
shot
You
by
don't
knife
have knife shot.
I mean, this must have been the moment that you realized that you were in a surrealistic
Oh yeah, when the
film
when the goo
because
comes out and he's still talking. Yeah, you're,
Yeah,
Well,
Yeah,
I
you
took
know.
that as Well, I initially took that as like this is because Jordan and
Amy.
are both high as fuck, and they're just kind of imagining that it happened. But it was after this. It's honestly it's once that's the following scene when they're at the hotel in the 666 motel or some shit. I'm just like, okay, so this isn't reality in any way. This is some false reality type thing.
Well, even the design of the hotel rooms gives it a very otherworldly feel to the
Yeah.
movie. Like
Well-
in the colors that they use. I mean, let's think about after the guy's head gets chopped off and they're running back to the car. Like they run by like a blue wall, a red wall, a green wall, and it's like, I think at that point you realize that it's supposed to feel kind of surreal, like you're like the world is definitely not the one the audience is living in.
Well, there's definitely a shot too where I think it's an interior of one of the motels is normal, and then all of a sudden, like, one of the characters leaves, comes back, and it's all checkered, like it's a fucking Tom Petty video, right?
No, it was
No,
always
that's
checkered.
a different hotel.
It's
room.
always checkered. Yeah,
Is it always?
Mhm.
Yeah.
It was always checkered.
Yes.
I
But
don't
I
know
did
how
lo-
I didn't.
I
like,
did
catch
love.
that the first time.
I did love the subtle detail where the blinds were also checkered.
Dude, everything
Yeah,
was
like
checkered.
everything
The
was checkered. All I kept
The
thinking was like,
towels,
this
like,
looks
everything.
like something out of like a fucking like Aha video. Or something. I thought this was like,
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I just feel like Xavier's character is an outside source, and I think it's even kind of driven home with, especially in the beginning of the film before he joins them really on their journey. He just keeps popping out of nowhere, pops out of nowhere at the drive-in. There's like a little tussle, and then pops in the car. Then they ditch him, and they're at the gas station again. He pops and grabs the shotgun. Like there's these moments where he just pops into their life.
yeah, every time pretty much.
and forces himself upon them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't.
He's
I actually
manipulating
didn't
them for
I actually
sure.
didn't. I probably wasn't paying enough attention. But I just didn't understand the initial fight or whatever that happened and how he even got in there. Because
Dude,
like
everyone
there
has
was-
a
there was,
shotgun
like-
in this movie.
there was like that when they're at the drive-in. Like okay, some people are fighting. They drive away, and then all of a sudden there's a third person in the backseat talking. And I was like, was he always back there?
yeah.
well, see, but here's the
No,
thing.
no, he got thrown
I
in
like-
the
I
car,
never
and then she got out and said, "Get the fuck off my car," and he jumped in and said, "Drive."
I didn't
and
see that shit either.
I didn't see that.
Me either.
Okay.
Like what,
That makes sense.
But
now.
this is why I keep asking the question. Like, at what point in time do you guys realize you're like, oh, I'm watching like a movie with surrealism in it?
Somebody being in the backseat of a car is equals surrealism.
No. But like, I'm
The
talking
head,
about
for
like,
me.
like where did he come from? How did he just pop out of nowhere? Like at this point in time, like I kind of feel like all bets are off about like whether or not this is like flowing in any type of continuity that I'm gonna understand or like any of the physics are gonna work.
At what point?
I'm talking about how Xavier keeps popping into his life. This whole conversation got started when you said that he jumped out of nowhere. And
I
like,
didn't say that.
oh,
I
then it
didn't.
was Cody. Then
Yes,
I'm
it was
sorry.
me. It was me.
No. But I'm asking everyone here. This
It's
is when
a
I said I'm
general
not pointing
question.
just at you.
This is a general question.
I'm saying a
he's
general
asking.
question is like, when do you guys say like, okay, like he's just gonna keep popping up? He could.
I never had a question about that.
God, I'm not challenging you. I'm asking everybody in the fucking room.
when he's no, I just kind of like once he popped up in like the convenience store, I was like, okay, this guy is just part of whatever these two are doing.
Like he
now.
could be a fucking ghost for all I know.
Yeah,
They
they don't try to ditch him
way.
at any point after that. I don't think.
almost
like,
feel-
they don't
that's
try
why-
to ditch him.
That's why I say because he forces himself on him.
Well,
like,
she
a
ends up
couple
having an
times.
affair. She ends up having an affair with him,
Mhm.
like in the car, and then he tries to rub it in Jordan's face, and and he doesn't seem to like really catch on or care much about it. And then so I feel like
Yeah,
at
'cause-
that point he's kind of stuck with them. Like they're kind of going on this journey together now. Like they're not trying to ditch him anymore.
He's busy playing with that belt buckle.
To answer the question, I thought that I was in a surrealist film when they got to the hotel, like I said a bit ago, where it was
Okay.
666, and I was like, okay, this is not reality.
Right. Like this dude could fly on a cloud at this point, and I'd be like, all right,
I didn't think that would happen, but
okay.
Yeah. No, I probably would have been upset if they flew on a cloud. Let's say
Well,
Aladdin.
that's why. How long did it take you before you were like, oh, I'm not watching anything that's fucking really happening?
Well, yeah.
It's the head with
The head.
Yeah, the talking head, the guacamole coming out of the
The
mouth.
mouth,
Like,
yeah.
I mean, that's like Margaret Cho running out with a fucking machete, like chopping
Yeah.
her kids up and shit. But the newscast, like they're watching the news at the motel. I think that's a good indication that we're in some weird world.
Mhm.
Just by the way that's displayed, you know,
Mhm.
it's like terribly green screened. Even the tie is like blocked out because
I
it's-
thought it was actually kind of fucking funny.
yeah, and it's like, oh, I love this show, and it looks like some sock puppet, weird ass fucking paper mache TV show that really doesn't exist, you know? And it's like, I think at this point you realize they're trying to put you in a world that's totally like set apart from what's real. Not totally in the sense that you can't identify with, like, in there, it's not like human or anything, but that we're supposed to believe it's like otherworldly.
Do you think
Mhm.
anyone grows like more than Jordan, or do you think Jordan is? Who do you think? I guess the main focus of this movie is on. Who would you say is like the main
I'd
character?
say Jordan.
Amy.
Jordan has the most growth. I feel like everything that Amy did and engaged in, it either by the way the film was edited or presented to us, all seemed totally natural and nothing new.
Yeah. Somehow Amy seems like she's the focal point to me, but I feel like the only one who really does have somewhat of growth is Jordan.
Yeah, he's the one that goes through the most change.
See, I think all three of them do.
I don't
Even
think
Xavier.
Xavier has any growth. I
Uh,
feel like everything he does is in him already.
Yeah, that's why I feel like he almost feels like an outsider.
He's like the experienced one of the
Yeah,
group.
no, I know. There's no doubt about it. I just the ending led me to believe that
was
there
gonna
was
say.
something to be said about.
I
We learned
agree.
something about
Well,
friendship at least.
I
or
was going to say
something.
that about Amy, actually, not so
Yeah.
much Xavier, because, you know, Xavier, the end of the movie is, well, I mean, the last shot, we should say, is them driving away
Yeah.
without Jordan. And, you know, Xavier just says, do you want a Dorito? And Amy just seems to be kind of in her own mind, in her own world, thinking about what had just happened to Jordan. And I think to me that just even like that moment, like that they hold on her, you know, as she doesn't respond to him, is that moment where she realizes like maybe I've been gone too far. Maybe this is the point where it's like I'm actually feeling some guilt for what I've done. I'm actually
Which
Yeah.
is also I think a scene that showcases what I was saying, which is like I don't think Xavier grows a whole lot because after everything he's just like, oh, I'm fucking hungry. I'm gonna eat now.
Right.
And it's like it's
Right.
nothing really
yeah.
new that he has to actually process.
This just hit me, and maybe this is a way to look at it too, and maybe you guys have already thought of this, but I'm thinking maybe Jordan and Xavier both represent something in Amy, whereas Jordan might be Amy's innocence, which dies at the end of the film, and she drives off with Xavier, who's all that grown up bullshit, fucking crazy stuff that you go through.
I like it.
After being-
I
That's
think that's a
interesting.
great
That's a
theory.
Yeah, it's
really
not a bad
interesting
theory.
I love
Yeah.
it. I think it could be very true. Like there's a part of her that just is still like trying to figure out like who she is, which is the Jordan side of her. And Xavier is the wild ass fucking crystal meth doing crazy
It's
motherfucker.
real world. It's the real
Yeah.
Jordan, or Xavier represents the fucking real world, and somehow Jordan represents that innocence you have before you fucking get into the real world.
And there's all these people from her past when she tried to be other things, other people, like trying to figure out who she was, like that's now coming back
and
to
saying,
like catch up with her.
yeah, or saying, "Come back to us,"
Mhm.
And she says, "That's not who I am
But-
now."
Interesting.
I also think there's
It's interesting. It's
There's
a good
also-
theory.
there's also some growth with Amy, like regarding the central relationship between her and Jordan that I try to catch up on, because I feel like Jordan can't perform, and I feel like both of those kids know before they meet Xavier that like the relationship's not gonna last on this trajectory, right? Like I think even she knows. Like, and I do believe her when she says that she loves him very much. I think that's 100% true. But I definitely feel like they know that something's missing in the relationship. And like through Xavier, they kind of learn to like not only physically be together, but like also emotionally. They all seem very close, at least by the threesome end of this.
Well, if you think about it, like when they're in the checkered room
Yeah.
and Jordan leaves to go to the Quickie Mart to get some snacks and a yo-yo, like the whole scene that's going on in the hotel room is I think we're exploring the dark side of Amy, and she's basically playing a game with Xavier. Like, if you crack a smile, I get to strangle you. Like, I get to kill you.
Yeah.
You know, and he is just fucking crazy enough to go along with her curiosities.
Mhm.
You know, and so I think that's the part of her that she wants to express, but it's not in Jordan to be that kind of person.
Yeah,
you
she's
know what
getting
I mean?
something.
Yeah.
And I mean, like even that very next scene is like telling too, because Jordan comes back. They've had sex. He's cool. He lays up right next to her, and like when they wake up, he makes a point to say like, "This is the first time we've ever woken up next to one another." Which at this point you're like, "Wait a second, you guys have sex. You've tried. Like you've never woken up next to each other. Like how is that possible?"
Mhm.
And then you think about it, and you're like, "Annie's happy." And she leaves the bed, and he's still happy. Like,
I can tell you how
I
it's
just feel like it's all connected at that point.
I can tell you how it happens because, again, going back to my theory, Jordan is her innocence. How they've never slept together before is because Jordan lived at home. He called his parents on this trip
no,
to
I
tell
don't
them.
think, like, come on.
To tell. Yeah.
I think she does too, because he asked, "You're gonna call your mom?" Like he asked her that, like
Yeah.
the first time they go to the first hotel room.
Yeah.
You should call your mom, and she's like, "Fuck that."
I understand. Okay, but like now you're trying to put a physicality to like what clearly is
It's
a line
surrealism.
that's that's not a throwaway line. He's not throwing away like, hey, we literally haven't woken up together. Like that's something that's supposed to be speaking to their character. I don't want to like dismiss it as just like, well, yeah, he only said that because they literally never slept. Like I don't think that's
I
a
don't know.
throwaway
They've been together
line.
for 3 months. I know that much. Like he
Yeah.
does say, like, remember
Yep.
he's like, "How long you been together?" He's like, "Man, fuck, a long time."
Yeah.
3 months.
Like, I took that as more of like a teenage
yeah.
joke kind of thing. Like
Yeah.
kids' fucking relationships don't last a long
Yeah.
time.
Also, that he probably doesn't know a lot about Amy. Like Jordan, in that
He
3 months
definitely
time, he
does
probably
not.
doesn't
He
know a
can't
lot.
know
No.
everything, but they're
Right.
definitely they're sitting around saying that they're in love
she
with
went.
one another.
She went to
Sure.
a different high school.
Yeah.
I
She has,
I don't know, I just-
she has the car. So
I think that scene means a lot to all the characters, and I think it's the
Huh.
one time you see
it's
everybody.
very sunny. Like this movie mostly
Yeah.
takes place at night. If but so this is like one of the sunnier like shot scenes when she gets out of bed and Xavier and Jordan are left laying there, kind of being, I guess, flirty. You would call it like.
He keeps scooting closer to him. They keep getting closer. Yeah.
And it's something that well, I guess now that we're getting to this point, this is the one part of the film where like things I don't quite like. Like this is where things start going downhill for me a little bit with
Okay.
this film.
What's that?
I'm actually a little bummed, that like Jordan doesn't ever actually get to ultimately fulfill his fantasy, right? Like he wants to have sex with Xavier. You could tell there's sexual tension
I
between
think
the
they
two that you
both
can
do,
cut with
yeah.
a knife.
Yeah.
Xavier clearly has to know that Jordan is into him because he's flirting with him heavy throughout the whole film,
Oh, yeah.
right? And then you get the scene where there's a threesome, right?
Mhm.
And then afterwards, like, Amy leaves, and then Jordan says, "Oh, I'm losing my heart on," and then like Xavier's like, "I'm not." And at that point in time, there was kind of like,
There's not a threesome though. Like they just wake up in the same bed together. They haven't
no,
actually.
I'm
Oh,
talking
he's
about
talking
the
about
very,
the scene
very.
when
He's
they're in the
talking about the-
Yeah,
warehouse.
we're jumping around, so I might as well.
Yeah.
We're at the
You know?
warehouse
Yeah.
at the end.
What I'm ultimately saying is that Jordan never actually gets to ever fulfill that. Like I feel like everybody's fantasy gets fulfilled to some extent, except for Jordan's. Jordan's very, very, very attracted to Xavier, and in a very like
And you're
puppy
saying-
dog way.
And then that scene, the lights go out right before what could
you-
have been
what could
a
have been
moment.
like, hey, everybody's getting their way. Like there was a part of me that kind of felt like he got really like got the short end of the
Well, he
stick. so to
definitely
put
did.
it, like,
Yeah.
because it bothered me because I kind of wanted to see them like hook up.
But so the director is a gay
Yeah,
man, like,
right.
and this movie is labeled a heterosexual film by Gregg Araki, which I think is probably like kind of a joke in a sense.
it's a very much I
like,
know
like
that,
if you
that
watch the
he's-
film, it's very it borders that line this whole time, like
Yeah.
especially with those two characters, like it always brings you right to the point where you think they're gonna get together, and then they just don't. And the end is especially like the fucking stamp on that, because it's like what you're saying. Yeah, the lights go out and suddenly it becomes a fucking horror movie, and this guy, I mean, what's more symbolic, of this, before this man gets to fulfill his, maybe homosexual fantasy, like he gets his fucking dick cut off. Like, I mean, then that's the end of the movie, you know?
And that's the part again, and then that was gonna tie into the part where this really, really starts. Like that was my first disappointment, and then the ending to me was just kind of like, all right, dude, now you're hitting me over the head with a hammer on this shit. Like, you really, okay, the kid's red, white, and blue, and they represent America, and you're going to lay the girl down on a fucking American flag, and a Nazi's going to rape her. Like, at this point, I'm like...
With a Virgin Mary statue.
Yeah, like, this is just, like, at this point, like, okay, like, it's becoming it wasn't, like... It didn't leave me questioning what I just saw. I knew very, very clearly what he was trying to tell me. And for me, I felt like that's where the film...
It's like he abandoned the subtlety.
Yeah, he abandoned it, and he starts, coming at me, swinging with heavy hands, and I'm just kind of like, at this point, like, yeah, man, now I'm out. Like, and I kind of don't like what you did with
this. I think
this.
he abandoned subtlety because I don't think this movie's ever really that subtle. Like,
no, but he's saying
I think the symbolism is.
He's saying it's subtle with the symbolism and the tones and the themes. Like you're, as an audience member, you're supposed to go on that journey and kind of pick up the notes and that like this director's dropping. But that
this whole time we've been asking questions like, I don't know, man. Like maybe did Jordan really like watching his girlfriend having sex?
Than like the 666 thing or like any of the signs, the billboards,
the 666
or
thing,
any of
like
that
never actually like. Sure, we can hint around that this may be a purgatory or hell or whatever. It's just the symbolism of like it's clearly like America's fucking over this doomed generation of kids.
Yes.
Like literally. And he's a Nazi. Like, like I just kind of felt like at that point in time it could have been done like the rest of the film and it didn't have to feel like
heavy-handed.
Yeah, like I got hit in the head with a fucking bat.
Yeah, I agree. This scene did feel like that.
I feel like the reason they did that is because they're like, we have to do that because there's a level of this movie is pretty in tone wise, I would say, sets a tone from the very beginning and then stays that tone up until the last 10 minutes where this happens and it just ramps to fucking 12.
Oh yeah.
And I think that was meant to just be like, okay, this is the climax of the film. We got to wrap this all up in somewhat of a bow. And I think that's why they went to that level, honestly.
I mean...
Because you really do have this tone throughout it until that last 10 minutes, and then it just spikes up, dude. That's your climax.
But, like, there's, like imagine an ending as subtle as, like, okay, they have a threesome, they go outside, Amy gets on a bus colored like the American flag, and it never comes back ever again. Like, you could, like, still kind of get this idea, like, oh, yeah, America's really, like, breaking our youth up. Like, you could have gotten it, but I don't know. Maybe I did
you wanted the ending. You wanted the ending of Ghost World.
but it is the ending of Ghost World. So funny because that's exactly what I was thinking when I was saying it.
It's the haircut.
Yeah, but like at the end of that. But what led it to believe to that was like when we reviewed Ghost World, we didn't know really exactly what to make of that ending. But we definitely know it meant something, and we can go back and watch the film. With this film, I feel like now I don't even have to go back to see it. Like I get what you're trying to say, dude. Got it. Like,
I think it was totally.
I'm not gonna
effective.
pick anything else up.
I think it was totally effective. Like
if
for me,
super fan 99.
For me, this film is so this film is so like nihilistic and like it actually really wasn't going anywhere if you really think about it. Like they just go from hotel to Quickie Mart. Like there's really not like a grand journey involved.
It's
in this
actually
whole
a
thing.
pretty boring cookie cutter that they go. It's like
meet another character that's weird.
Quickie Mart Hotel. Quickie Mart Hotel.
It's kind of redundant, actually. They just meet these bigger characters. Like Parker Posey shows up as like an ex like lesbian lover. I'm assuming. She's got a big wig on. Her part's great. She ends up like pulling a sword out and shit. But yeah, I feel like I wait, where were we going with this?
We were just basically saying like how impactful the ending was, and
you
how
said
I
it
was
was
saying that
effective.
there was too
yes.
much.
So I'm saying it was effective. Like, and yes, you're right. It is heavy-handed in the sense that it's spread the American flag out, Nazi symbol painted on the chest. There's a rape that's involved. There's a dick getting cut off. It's a very extreme scene. But the reason that worked for me is because of the strobe light that was going on at the time, the shots that they chose to use, like when you would get a glimpse of what was actually going on, the fact that the fucking national anthem is playing in the background, like putting all of these things together made me feel very uncomfortable, like very uncomfortable with this scene in general, like all around. And like I feel like we've talked about this before, when I watch like a film, like whether I love it or hate it, if it pulls an emotional like reaction out of me, or if it makes me wince, or it makes me like feel just horrible, like to me that's a win. Like that's something that's done like somewhat effectively.
Yeah, I'll agree with you with that. The end of this film definitely it works on the. For me, it definitely works on the shock factor element. It's aggressive. It's in your face. It's just it's ramped up to fucking 11. But I also agree, though. I agree more with Mike, where I was like, it is just a little too much, in my face about what the director is trying to say about it. Like he presented what he wanted to say in a stylistic way that was aggressive and cool. But at the same time, at the end of the day, I'm not left questioning.
Gotcha.
It felt like felt like bad experimental theater. Like I felt at the end of the lights would come on and they would go scene.
That's weird. I was watching it and all I could think was, oh man, this is better than The Purge. This feels like The Purge and it's better than The Purge.
So is this like your favorite part of the movie? Did you
No. Man, you know what, Mike? I hate to say this. But I don't know what my favorite part of this movie is. I don't know if I have a favorite part. That's a good question. Maybe we'll answer that when we come right back.
That's a good spot
Yeah,
to
we
stop.
definitely
We're
need
at
to-
an hour and 6.
Can
So
we,
let's
check
go.
these
Let's
to
just
make
go
sure it's still
into
review?
I'm still blinking.
I'm still blinking.
Yeah, so am I.
I don't know if I am.
Yep.
Is this fucking
Does
light?
he have a red light?
No, well the
screen
screen
will black out.
blacks out. After.
Oh, well, you can press the button at the top once to turn the screen on.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah, you're good.
Blinking red.
Still going. Okay.
Cool.
All
Yeah,
right.
no, I think this is actually.
Yeah, I think it's a good segue. Let's just go
Okay,
to
cool.
the reviews. I'm gonna
Yeah,
try to
that
make
was
our
good.
shows shorter again.
That was a very good conversation, anyways. I think that was a great conversation.
A hell of a lot deeper than I thought we were gonna go.
So same here. 100% same.
Yeah,
here.
and I learned some shit that I feel like I would never thought of
Shit.
about this movie. So
I didn't even put together the innocence and the other thing until fucking it hit me right here. I was like, oh, weird. Okay. And we're back. What do you say we rate this Mammer Jammer? Should we rate it?
fuck
Yeah.
yeah, let's do it.
Did you really need our confirmation? We were all
Yeah.
like,
I did.
not
No,
really.
not yet.
I wanted-
Not
Not-
today.
I
Not
wanted to-
tonight.
I wanted to
Not this episode.
Ugh.
So how many cum hands are we rating this, Chris?
I
Sorry.
texted Cody a joke and I said, "Hey, how many copies of Children of the Dust are you gonna rate this movie?"
That shit made me laugh out loud.
Yeah, man.
Very hard.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
I watched this and I was like, "Fucking Children of the Dust,
Yeah,
here it is."
yeah.
Not
God
wrong.
damn.
What are we rating it, Chris?
I'm gonna go Skull Lighters.
Skull
Like,
lighters.
I feel like that was featured kind
Lighters.
of prominently, especially at the very end, like when Xavier pulls out the missing skull lighter, and it reminds what I assume reminds Amy of Jordan, who has just been fucking brutally murdered.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'll go first because I don't think mine's gonna be a shocker. We've said this before. We've said this before. I had a lot more fun with this conversation than watching this movie. Man, this for me personally, this is just it's a painful watch. It was tough to get through this, man. I can't get behind the acting style in this movie. It was very annoying to me personally. I get people that are into this movie though. Don't get me wrong. I get people that are into this movie. It's not my thing. It feels like a cheap porno throughout the whole thing too, just with the lighting of the red and the blue and. It feels like at any moment, and it almost is that way with the sex that's in it too. It just feels like this really cheap, dirty, filthy porno that I'm watching that just won't end.
Oh shit!
With just the worst dialogue and without characters to enjoy. For me, man, I would put this. I'm gonna go with a 1 because there's just the conversation was fun. But I mean, this is not one I would recommend. I see why Chris didn't recommend it to me. You know, and yeah, for me, it's a 1, solid 1. Let's go with Mike next.
It's tough. This is a tough review for me because it's between a 3 and a 4 because like the weird thing about this film is that there's so much of this film that I really 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 like, and then there's a lot that I really don't like.
Yeah.
Like there was just parts where I was like, come on, man. Like trying to think if I even want to meet it in the middle. Like I
Wouldn't be hard.
I'm gonna.
It'd be a 3.5. When he said between a 3 and a 4, I was like, you mean a 3.5?
No. I'm saying in my head, I think I'm gonna give it a 4 actually.
Okay.
Because like as much as I want to say, I could easily say 3.5 because it's like I'm gonna between like my decision process is like, do I think it's a good? My 4 is based on whether or not I would tell somebody else to watch this, and I think I absolutely would say yes. All the things I like about this film, I thought. Just the dynamic between the 3 characters, I love that. I love the way the film is shot. I love the dialogue. And then the ending, kind of like it for me, it's a huge letdown. It's like the ending of Dexter. Like it's just kind of like
I think that fell on
after-
deaf ears in
I
this
don't
room,
know what
dude.
that
No
is,
one ever
but
saw
it
that.
sounds
I
bad.
know. Yeah, it was
it's like
not
the
good.
the last 2 seasons were just like, oh man, it was so fucking good, but like now this sucks. But if somebody came up to me and said, hey, was Dexter a good series? I'd be like, fuck yeah, it was a good series.
Dude,
That's a good series. I mean, stay after. Don't have to stay after 3, but like, yeah, like,
I'm like, anything after Trinity Killer, just
yeah, after Trinity Killer's gone, you can just give up at this
Give
point.
up,
It's
yeah.
fine. Like it, and that's kind of how I feel about this film. It's just like there's this one aspect of it that I absolutely hate, but I can't say that this isn't going to be an important film for me, and a film that I might even watch again. Although, again, that leads to also a thing I didn't like, which is, do I really need to watch this again? I feel like I got the point. Like I don't need to go. I feel like I'm not going to find another layer.
Mhm.
But for maybe the technical, I'd watch it again just to see like some of the cool shots he had, and because it feels just so amateur, like it seems unhindered. Like it almost like he did it on the fly, and I think there was a lot of cool things that came of that.
Like guerrilla style.
Yeah,
almost.
very much
Yeah.
so. Very much so.
Kyle.
What the fuck's with the dramatic pause on that one? I'm gonna come in at this film. I was gonna give
Come
it.
at it.
I was gonna give this film a 2.
At least 2 people did.
Jesus Christ.
Let me start that one over
Yeah.
again.
Let's get a clean take.
Yeah, I'll do a clean.
I can tell you. I can tell you 2 people's hands that were.
Let me go wash my hands of that take. I'm gonna come. Oh my god.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
This movie. Oh my god. I'm going to rate this film 3. I was originally going to do a 2.5, but this conversation I felt was actually a little more enlightening than, what I actually took away from the film. I wasn't the biggest fan of the performances and some of the deeper introspective, well, it's probably not introspective to Mike, but for me, like, I didn't pick up on a lot of the characterizations that you did in the deeper level of their relationship and how they're woven together. That's why it's getting an extra bump. I think there was just a little bit more I looked past. I'll watch this movie. I did like the movie did do the one job that I think, creative or experimental film should do, which has made me think. Like, the whole time, I personally locked my mind into the whole purgatory thing. So the whole film, it was more of an adventure for me. I was like, oh, is this why would they be here? Who's the one that's actually here? Is it just Rose McGowan's character that's actually dead and these people are just following her? Is it all 3 of them? Is it 2 of them? What's going on? I thought some of the filmmaking was interesting. Mike, I know you're a huge fan of the indie low budget stuff. I mean, I don't think I was as hard into it when I was younger. So like some of the indie, the shots and the way that it's made, it doesn't resonate as well with me as it does with you or other people. But I think overall it's a really interesting film. I don't think, to Mike's point, I don't think I'm going to watch it again because I don't think there's more that I'm going to pull from it. What I think I would have pulled from it, I pulled it out of this conversation with you guys, which is pretty cool. So, but overall, I would recommend somebody check it out if you haven't seen it before. It's fucking crazy. And 3 for me. 3 skull lighters.
That's the shocker of the night for me right there. I didn't see it going that high.
It's a weird fucking
Speaking
movie.
of going high,
Yeah, speaking of going,
we're going to be creating a new scale. Chris will be on a 10-point scale on this one.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm going to be very, very, very honest about this. Like, do I love this film? Yes, I do. But can I objectively see the flaws in this film? Absolutely. Like,
Not.
this.
Seamless.
Mike and I were touching on it earlier, the film is kind of redundant. Like, there's not a lot that happens in this movie. It's 3 characters that go from hotel room to Quickie Mart to hotel room to Quickie Mart to some fucking store, like, and it's all seems like it's kind of on the outskirts of Los Angeles or something, like. So I could see how it would kind of drag, like the story would drag. There's not a lot of, like a lot of different things that happen other than meeting weird characters. The characters can be very annoying at times. The dialogue does drag out quite a bit, making scenes feel very long. So, objectively, I can say, yes, it's definitely not going to be for somebody who's not, like, patient with it. But overall, like, from a production standpoint, like, aesthetically, yes, this movie definitely inspires me. Like, the way things are lit, the way the sets are designed, like the way the characters' looks are designed, like, all of these things to me are, like, very intriguing. And and Gregg Araki as a director, like, if you go on to see the other 2 movies that are part of this so-called trilogy, like, you see that he has a style for this and like a good eye for, like, 90s, like, cliche, but, like, kind of twisted and distorted in a weird way. It's definitely a product of the times. Like, this movie is, like, down to the soundtrack. Like, it is such a product of, like, the mid 90s. It's not even funny. But I love Rose McGowan in this movie. I do see her as, like, as a badass kind of character, even though she's not necessarily, like, virtuous in any way, or, like, maybe you're not even supposed to feel like she is. But I like the way she acts in this film. I like how doofy, Jordan kind of is, and, like, yeah, the lessons that he might learn, or, like, the journey he kind of goes through, even though it's tragic. And I like the tempter that's all, riding alongside him. So, overall, like, this movie, I can pull a bunch of things out of it that I love. I'm going to give it a 4.5 simply because I discovered new things about this movie because of you guys that I never thought about, as far as the story goes, or as far as how the characters are on a metaphoric level, potentially. And because of that, I have to bump it up a half to a 4.5 because I do think there's some merit to that. I think that could totally be possible, and that and the 2 male leads in this could be a reflection of Amy's internal struggle, and I love that. So, and I'm glad you brought that to my attention. So 4.5 skull lighters for me.
I also want to note, since you were talking about Araki's other films, like, because I've never seen a single other one of his films, and as I was going through it, I couldn't help but, like, see, like, the Rotten Tomato scores. Like, nothing has gone above, like, a 50% for any of his films,
Mm-hmm.
but, like, it was kind of one of those things where I feel like it wasn't a bad thing. Does that make any sense?
Like, people who really like his work are fans, and I think there's just, like, a line, like, then again, he goes on to do other things that don't have this style, like Smiley Face with Anna Faris. He directed that.
Yeah,
that doesn't
yeah,
have this.
Right,
Like, it might have, like, a little bit of that kind of humor injected into it, but overall, it's not this very over stylized kind of world that he's creating.
Well, didn't I read somewhere, like, this was also, like, I think the only film, like, he used a cinematographer for this or something.
Yeah,
because
he finally had a budget.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I mean, this is
at the
by no
time.
means a very.
Yeah.
No, I mean, $800,000 is not a lot for.
No.
A film,
Maybe I'll
even on
pick
a-
it at some point down the line, but Nowhere comes out is the third in the trilogy, and that one is even, like, it's heavily stylized like this one is too.
Like, that's what I felt like. I just felt like it was one of those directors where somebody might say, like, he's either a genius or you hate him. He's not like, okay.
It's also, like
Oh, I would think that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah,
Like,
that's why I kind of
Mhm.
was like, oh, cool. Like, every Rotten Tomato score is like a 46.
Yeah,
Like-
he's also riding in that, like, LGBT
Yeah,
community.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so, not, I hate to say it, but not everybody's, like, open to the, films
True.
that are open to, to that world. So this is, might be hard for some people to get into, but I like that he blends all of that together and blends that world, and it makes and kind of normalizes it, but also shows, like, the struggles of it, and yeah, and you see it kind of in Nowhere as well. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna have to go. That might be the next one I go pick up.
That's our show for this week. Before we go, though, we got 2 shout outs to do.
How do I find them?
They're on iTunes.
Here, I'll pull it up too.
.com.
So weird.
You guys gonna both read?
Yeah,
Could not find it.
You guys gonna both read?
I'm gonna both.
You guys gonna both
Same
read?
time
you,
reading.
you guys
Yes.
gonna be like two little spoons in
Hey.
a drawer reading?
Two little spoons reading to each other.
That's crazy. Like it was 125 this morning when I checked it.
No, it's been doing that. It's been doing that for me too, where it will show 125
Ah,
and
shit.
then it'll blink over
Oh,
to
wait.
127.
I'll do Sammy's. Sammy 011.
I think Chris
two.
claimed that one.
Well, I can't find the
It
other
doesn't
one.
matter. I don't care.
Doesn't matter.
Where's the other one? Oh, January 10th.
Yeah. Or what?
Fun, fun,
What-
fun. No,
when-
that's not it.
No, that's one we already read.
That's what you have both, Chris.
Hold on.
No.
No, I'm still getting to the
Fun-
right
we didn't read
region
fun,
here.
fun.
Yeah, we did.
January 10th.
It's at the top.
I thought that we didn't read that.
No,
Maybe that I was wrong with two.
I thought these were
oh,
at the
maybe it was
top
only
now.
one.
Oh
The-
wait, yeah, we didn't read the Gen Xer one with the millennials.
Yeah,
okay,
that's
I'll
the
read
one.
that one. That's
Yeah.
fine. Okay.
Holly the dinosaur, Cap Jesse. I don't. Yeah, I am. November 2018.
On Friday.
On a Friday.
Where's 2019? That's what we need to find. The sh-
you're too far down. Go up.
2018. I don't fucking know.
You can switch to most recent. That's funny.
Well, let's just.
127. What's with the app on your?
What if I wonder if I do it on here? If it'll
I'm
be better.
sure you'll pull it up on here.
It's so weird. I hate the way that the phone works.
Why?
Because I always had the same problem that Cody has. Like they're never in order.
Well, they're not even in order on the computer either.
But you
It's
can
just-
filter that in the computer.
I think
So you can go to most recent.
Okay, well, let's see here.
Read a fucking book,
Yeah.
Chris.
There it is. Okay, we got it now. Sorry.
Ah.
Ghost Guide 2 and Ringer. Wait, okay, yeah. Did we ring the Ringer End? I don't remember that.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did.
Okay, so we got Sammy 0112 and Ghost Guide 02. Okay,
All right.
020202.
All right, let's do a cool intro.
Okay.
to
Yeah.
that.
cool intro.
All right, guys, that's our show for this week. But before we go, we got two shout outs to shout out. My mouth needs to work. We got two shout outs to do. Let's does someone want to do those?
Here we go. We got a 5-star review by Sammy0112. It's labeled a great listen. One of my favorite podcasts. It's a good podcast to listen to while doing your makeup or pooping. 10 out of 10. Would recommend. P.S. Kyle is my favorite.
We do go good. We do go
What?
good with pooping. What other podcast does Sammy listen to?
I don't know. It's probably some hair shit.
Oh,
wow. Okay.
wow, she's shitting.
While she's pooping.
Yeah.
Apparently, that's her go-to listen time.
I actually
know.
asked her. She's like, yeah, I normally listen to podcasts when I'm pooping. I'm
podcast
like,
and
why
a
do you
poop?
poop so
Damn,
much?
dude, that's a long poop.
No, I'm gonna cut that out now.
That's
That's
a
that.
long-
You got a whole fucking podcast.
Like an hour and a half.
I better get it. I'm locking down this 3-hour podcast so I
Oh,
can
my
get
legs.
this shit going.
I didn't realize that was an inside joke.
It's not, but I'm not gonna put it in the show because I just criticized my girlfriend's pooping.
Oh, I thought it was
No.
you pooping.
No,
Got
she
it.
pooping.
We got another
That's
one.
okay,
We
we're
got
normal.
another one to do. Let's
Let's-
let's move on, shall
let's
we?
try another one.
All right, we got a second review. Let's get into that one.
All right, this is another 5-star review from Ghost Guide 02, and it is entitled Fun, Fun, Fun. It is great production quality, good content, and hilarious hosts. I'm an older Gen Xer female who is enjoying listening to these millennials talk movies. Not only does the show provide a fresh perspective on iconic cult classics from my youth, I also find myself laughing out loud at some of their observations and comments. Bottom line, the show is refreshing and entertaining.
Oh.
Thank you very much.
Ghost
That's
Guide
awesome.
02.
Ghost got it it's like a ghost tour guide.
I
Started back
like
in 02.
it.
I hope so.
Started that job back in 02. Started giving ghost tours.
Well, we just did the movie for Ghost Guy, didn't we? This is Gen Xer. This is.
oh yeah.
Come on, you guys didn't pick that.
Well,
when I
that's
was
what-
dropping down.
yeah.
Wah, wah.
Yeah, well,
Kyle does
Oh,
comedy.
hold on, guys. I got something for this. There you go. Oh,
Wow.
I was hoping.
Remix.
Never gets
You
old.
get a good one, Ghost Gun 02.
Never gets old, does it? All right, guys, that's our show. Remember to follow us on social media. You can follow us on Facebook. Just search Cult Film and Review. You can follow us on Twitter, @cultfilm_review. Cult Film and Review on Instagram, cultfilmandreview.com. Make sure you put in.
Cult Film and Review everywhere.
Hey, we're all over.
We did a good job with capturing those domains. Guys.
Yeah.
We got that shit on lock.
No one had them before us, so we
Can you
jumped
believe it?
right.
Could you
on it.
believe it?
No,
Well,
you know what?
How could they not? It rolls
No,
right off the tongue.
They
Cult Film and Review.
did because we had to put an underscore.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
No, they're
we
gone
changed
now.
it on Instagram.
No, we took it back.
We took it back.
Now we are Cult Film. I'm the captain now.
Look at me. Look at me.
So I had
I'm
to do
the
a Captain
now.
Phillips there.
No
That was good.
more underscore. No more underscore.
You can follow Kyle.
I fucking hate Chris right now.
Come on, your underscore.
I forgot what it was.
Cult Film Kyle on Instagram.
Oh, you can follow me on Instagram at cultfilm_Kyle. I zoned out on that.
You
I was just so mad at Chris.
I was waiting for you to say friendly neighborhood filmmaking.
Which, by the way, that website is still live.
You go check it out right now. Still going strong. Probably the most viewers it's ever had. You can follow Chris at.
Cultfilm_Chris on Instagram.
You can follow. So stupid.
I'm sorry, I had to.
Forgiven.
God.
I want that done every time now because it's so fucking stupid.
Jesus.
You can follow my cat.
At Mike Salustio on Twitter.
That was a real guttural one. Sorry about that one. And you can follow me at VHS Collect on Instagram and Snapchat. That is our show for this week. Remember, if you're going to join a cult, make sure they watch good movies. We'll see you next time.
All right.